Hey, here's a great job opening in the greater Charlotte area for just the right person. I'm Roger Holloway with Prosted Realty, and maybe you're moving to Charlotte in your retirement and you are law enforcement. We've moved several NYPD officers, detective down here. I'm thinking of one right now that took a job, retired 20 years on the job in New York, NYPD, moved down here and took a job at a small town police department. And that sounds like a beautiful thing, right? Secondarily, had one NYPD retiree came down. His kids were still young. He's in his 40s and just retired. Had another NYPD family move down, and he took a job with one of the big banks. So there are security jobs, but look at this police chief job. Wow. I mean, I don't know what your mentality is if you've been working 20 years on the job. I had a nice chat yesterday with one of our Charlotte Mecklenburg CMPD officers. He's been on the job 17 years. He's got another 13 because it takes 30 to retire here. But hey, he'll be in his mid 50s when he retires. So here's what I'm saying. Everybody wants to move to Charlotte. About 100 people plus or minus a day are moving to Charlotte. And there is one great small town kind of in the 485 perimeter, which is our, beltway around, about a 60 some mile beltway. And over on the southeast side, it's got a very cool small town feel to it. It's called Matthews. And the town of Matthews is looking for a police chief. The pay is going to be somewhere between 107 and 137. And I know up in New York, I know you can make 100 grand if you put your time on the job there. I'm thinking NYPD because I know a lot of guys want to get out. A lot of young ladies want to get out of the city. And, I'll just tell you, 107,000 goes a lot further in Matthews, North Carolina, than it does in the Big Apple. Okay. Hey, I recognize when those 631 numbers and the 516s, I think it is, coming across my phone. We got a lot of calls from New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. Love it. But, even from other cities that maybe you want to relocate. And if you put in 20 years on the job, I mean, I know it's not easy. In fact, yesterday when I initiated that conversation with that officer, he was stationed at, after hours kind of work at our church. I have a couple of guys that are usually there, and I talked to him first time I met him. I like to stop and just say this: hey, thank you. I go in with my hands showing, I say, hey, thank you for putting that uniform on every day. That means a lot to me. And speaking of New York City, I know you guys don't like Law and Order, the TV show, probably, but on my 50th birthday, I think the Lord's birthday present to me was on the set all day. That was about a year before 9/11 at the Law and Order studios at Chelsea Pier. Man, that was fun, meeting all the principals. And of course, I was friends and worked a little bit with the police chief back in Indianapolis as a pastor of a local church. We did a lot of outreach together with the police department. So big fan. And that was a neat thing for me. And here's what I'll tell you. If you could if you're so minded to keep working, like I said, some of the folks we've moved down from New York had a mind to just really be retired, spend time with the family, which is great. But there have been other opportunities. Like I said, small town police guy working for one of the big banks uptown. But the police chief of Matthews, to me, that's going to be a pretty prestigious gig. I think you could get into that. So, you could go. Here's one thing I advocate. I found this in the Axios.com. It's actually charlotte.axios.com. It's a newsletter. And I scroll the newsletter for a minute or two, headlines, and look at a story or two. But this caught my eye. A lot of job openings there. They're heavy on jobs. Don't use the real estate agents they recommend. Call this guy, 704-345-3400. But hey, wherever you're moving from, we honor and respect you. Not all, but again, it's a southern town. And we always tell people, if you're coming from Seattle, don't Seattle my Charlotte. If you're coming from New York, don't New York my Charlotte. I came from Indianapolis, and a lot of great values there, but I honor and respect law enforcement and military. So if you want that job as police chief, if I can put a link in the description of this, I will. In the meantime, you can just reach out to the town of Matthews. They are looking for a police chief. They're going to be reviewing in April of 2023. So I hope you get the gig, and I hope I can help find you a house with my team. That's what we do. Hit subscribe, like, share, all the stuff the kids do. Couple it with a phone call, 704-345-3400. I'll see you in the next video.